Hello everyone, welcome to the video. My name is Eric, I'm the multimedia producer here at Autoblog, and today we are going to be talking about the very first settings you should change in Rocket League when you download it for the first time. So Rocket League just became free to play, or will be free to play within a few days, depending on when you watch this video. And it's very exciting. It's an amazing game, but unfortunately, some of the default settings can create bad habits, let's say. So I'm going to show you a few settings to change right off the bat. Change them as soon as you start up the game, and it's going to allow you to progress a lot faster, I think. So let's go ahead and hop in. I'll show you exactly what to do here. Now, some of this is going to be personal preference. Some of it I would strongly recommend, and I will let you know which is which. So first thing, press start, went to options. Here we go. We're in options. We're in the gameplay options. I went ahead and set everything back to default so you can see exactly what I'm changing. So all of this is exactly what you are also going to see, because these are the default settings. So these are the gameplay options. Not too much here. This one's kind of a personal preference, but what I would suggest, especially if you're new to the game, I scrolled down to right here. You see game stat display level. What that is when you score a goal or make a save, a little alert will come up letting you know that you just got points for that, essentially. You can do it to where it's only the main stuff, such as goals and saves, or I actually like to put it on all stats, where it lets you know when it's registered you clearing the ball, and smaller things like that. But I think it's helpful just to let you know exactly what the game counts as something rather than nothing, because you don't get points every time you touch the ball, obviously. So that's all we've got for the gameplay options here. Camera, here's where we're going to start getting into a little more craziness. All right, if you take one thing from this video, let it be this: turn camera shake off. Uncheck that box. It's terrible. Literally nobody likes it. Why is it default? Who knows? Turn it off. It's only gonna make your life harder. It's terrible. So definitely turn camera shake off. Very important. Now, field of view, kind of a personal preference thing. I actually like to max mine out, but again, try this for yourself. Distance, this is all camera stuff. You know, I pop this out one click. I set it from 270 to 280. Height, again, I pop it up one click, 100 to 110. These are not, you can see the screen subtly moving in the background. These are not large changes. So those two are definitely personal preference. Angle, I don't touch. Stiffness, I go down a few pegs. Swivel speed, I go up a fair amount, and transition speed, I go up quite a bit. Now, what this is essentially when you're changing from ball cam to not ball cam, as I'm doing right now. That, what I just did, it determines the speed of which it does that. I like it to be pretty fast. You can really slow it down, or you can make it nearly instant, but either one of those options is pretty disorienting for me, so I like to keep it where I keep it. So where are we at? Yeah, so swivel speed 4.9, transition speed 1.6. I don't touch the insert swivel box. Next up, controls. This is going to be another very important one, up there with camera shake. So view change bindings, we'll start there first. Power slide is defaulted to X on the Xbox. It's going to be the leftmost button on the right side of your controller by default, no matter what system you're using. Now, This one is a little controversial. You can keep X's power slide if you want, but I actually like to change power slide to LB or L1, depending on what you are playing on. The reason for that is because I also like to set my air roll to LB. Now, there's a reason for this. I'm going to try to explain it in a way that makes sense for someone who might not be super familiar with this game. As you saw previously, air roll was set to left trigger. Left trigger, as you can see, is also drive backwards. That's also reverse. So air roll is a control that really only matters when you're not on the ground, when you're in the air. So what an air roll is this. You jump, that's an air roll. Now, you could hold left trigger to do that as well, but I just find it to be again, pretty disorienting, because if you're holding left trigger, then you do that and then you're like reversing, and it's not good. It's just cleaner to throw this control on LB, left button, or L1. I think it's going to help you out a lot. I made that change and never looked back. And then same type of thing for the power slide. LB, I'm just holding LB to power slide rather than X, which was the default. This one might take some getting used to, but that's why I suggest doing it immediately when you first start off this game, because I think it's going to help you out a lot once you start getting into the higher ranks and a little bit faster play. I think that's going to be a big one. Now, because we just changed these two settings, we are going to have to, and you see these air roll right and left, these are blank. You can leave them blank, or some people like to bind these to RB and LB respectively as well. The difference is air roll without the right or left, the one we just changed up here. That one is you hold the button while you turn the control stick to make something happen. Air roll right and left, you don't have to touch the control stick. So if you make air roll left LB, if you jump and only hold LB and no other controller input, you'll still turn over to the left like I just showed. Some people do that. Not really my thing. Kind of a preference thing, but check it out if you're interested. But the one thing that we do have to change here, so you see, so we changed these both to LB. What was previously set to LB was the scoreboard. We got to get rid of that because that's going to be pretty annoying in game. I like to set this to pushing in on the right joystick. So it's also my rear view. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but to be honest, I really don't use my rear view all that much, and when I do, it's pretty easy to see through the scoreboard when it pops up. I wish I could show you guys, but it doesn't pop up in training here because there is no score. But essentially, when you reverse like that by pressing what's commonly known as R3 or pressing inward on the right thumbstick, the scoreboard will pop up. Like I said, admittedly, that one's a little weird, but it works for me. It works for me. But ultimately, the point is just throw that scoreboard on a different input other than LB if you decide to set up your controls this way. And then the last thing I would suggest is, as you can see, it's RB to reset ball in training. I'm pressing RB right now, and the ball is being reset. This is just free play training that we're in right now. I do not like that at all, because if you do decide to bind air roll right to RB, then watch this. You can't, because RB, the ball reset overrides the air roll control. So that's not good. So what I like to do is I like to change the ball reset shot, rather. I like to change that to up on the D-pad. The reason why is because you only ever are going to use reset shot in training, never in games. And in training, there is no quick chat, which is the other input for up on the D-pad, so you don't have to worry about it. They don't clash. You can't use quick chat in training. You can't reset shots in games, so it's fine to have both of these upwards on the D-pad. And I just think it makes more sense. It allows for a little bit more flexibility. So for the rest of the controls here, for steering sensitivity, I turn it up a little bit. This is a lot of just personal preference. You're going to have to just play around with this and see what you like. I like 1.8 for steering sensitivity, 1.6 for aerial sensitivity. The controller dead zone, I pulled down to 0.1, and the dodge dead zone, I pulled down to 0.35. Now, what are these things, you might be wondering? A dead zone is basically how far you can move your thumbstick away from its middle resting position before your controller recognizes that as an intentional input. So say you're doing what's referred to as a fast aerial, where you jump and look straight up and then jump again, but it's very important to do a fast aerial. You can't be pressing your left thumbstick, your directional stick, in any direction, or else you'll flip. So if you want to do a fast aerial like that, I wasn't pressing my thumbstick in any direction. But if you want to jump and then do a flip, you have to press your thumbstick in a certain direction. Now, sometimes if you're playing quickly, it can be kind of weird, where if your thumb is like kind of pulling the stick in one direction and you're trying to fast aerial and you're, oh no, I accidentally flipped because I was ever so slightly pulling my thumbstick backwards or forward, then you want to increase your dead zone in that case, because you want more of a dead zone, because you don't want your left stick to count those little micro movements there. But if you've got a really steady hand, then maybe that's okay. Maybe you don't have to worry about it. So that's what dead zones are. Controller vibration, you can do default. Psyonix, the developers of this game, recently changed how the vibration works. I don't like the new one. I go all, but realistically, this one doesn't really matter. Try it both ways and do what you like. Vibration intensity 1, that's perfect for me. Ball camera mode toggle, that just means whether you press the ball camera mode button, which generally is Y, or the topmost button on the right side of your controller, or if you have to hold it. I don't know what kind of psycho uses hold. I would strongly recommend staying with the default toggle. Push to talk, this is for if you use a lot of game chat. I don't, so, you know, personal preference on there as well. Next up, interface. So for the interface scale, I do not like it this big, so I'm gonna pull this down to 90. Display scale, I'm also gonna pull this down to 90. This clearly is just personal preference type stuff. Nameplate scale. A nameplate is when you're in a game, you can see your partners and your opponents' names above their cars. I like those to be large, so I pump that up to 180%. Nameplate mode default, you can do a simplified view. I think the default is fine for me. Mash notifications all. Yep, I leave this the same, this the same, this the same. I leave these three the same. Ball cam indicator. This actually might be okay to leave on when you're just starting out. Basically, all this is in the lower left-hand corner there, it shows you when you're on ball cam. And what ball cam is the camera is stuck to the ball. As you can see, I'm driving all over. Now, if you press Y to toggle and take it off ball cam, it's no longer stuck to the ball. A big part of Rocket League is flipping back and forth between these camera modes, just depending on the situation. Once you get used to it, I'd probably turn off the ball cam indicator just because it's kind of annoying. There's no reason for it to be on the screen. It's extremely obvious when you're in ball cam. But when you're just starting out, it might be helpful to keep on. I'm going to turn it off right now because I don't like it, but you might want to keep it on. It's your call. So next, over to video. Again, a lot of this is personal preference. I personally don't like vertical sync, weather effects, and lens flares, but I think light shafts and transparent goalposts are fine. And in fact, I would strongly recommend always leaving transparent goalposts on, because if you don't, you might get stuck in a situation where you're in the back of the net and the goalposts are not transparent, so you can't see anything coming at you. That's not good. You want to be able to see everything that's coming at the net, so leave those goalposts transparent. Audio is 100% your call. You know, this is it's just audio. It's really not going to affect you too much. Chat, this is very important. Set up your quick chats ahead of time. There are lots and lots and lots of options here that don't show up by default. So if you see, there are tons of quick chat options that you can go with, and more being added with this new update, very excitingly. So that is gonna do it for what settings you should change when you first start up Rocket League. The important ones are camera shake off and air roll, in my opinion. I think those are really gonna help you out a lot. So hopefully that helps you out. If you just started playing Rocket League, let us know what you think about it in the comments. Drop your gamer tag or your Epic Games account, whatever, and hopefully we can start a little community. We can start playing together. If you're unaware, we actually live stream racing and driving games on our Twitch channel and on our YouTube channel twice a week, Tuesday and Thursday from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock Eastern time. And we don't always do Rocket League, but we do play Rocket League fairly often since it's one of my favorite games. So check us out there. If this video was helpful for you, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. That really helps us out a lot. Like this video, hit the bell to get notified when we release new videos. This channel is definitely not solely about racing games, but rather gaming is a small part of this channel, and we have tons of awesome car reviews, truck reviews, all kinds of great videos, really encompassing the whole automotive industry. We are Autoblog, after all. That's what we do. So hopefully this was helpful for you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.